Mickey's Descent, cartoon 1963, status lost media, origin unauthorized Russian production, country Soviet Union, language Russian, no dialogue, runtime approximately 10 minutes, produced by unknown Soviet animators, discovered by unknown. Overview. Mickey's Descent is an alleged unauthorized animated short from the Soviet Union produced in 1963. The cartoon is said to be a disturbing lost piece of animation that was never intended for public release. It was purposely used as a form of psychological torture in a Soviet prison system, where it was played on loop for prisoners in solitary confinement. The cartoon features a distorted, dark version of Mickey Mouse, completely unlike the cheerful character known worldwide. Its unsettling and nightmarish content led to rumors about its purpose in the prison system: to break the will of the incarcerated individuals by subjecting them to extreme psychological distress. Although no concrete evidence have emerged regarding its creators, the existence of Mickey's Descent has been debated for decades, with a few individuals claiming to have witnessed the film or its effects. Plot summary. The animation begins with a version of Mickey Mouse walking down a seemingly endless, desolated street. Set in a bleak, barren environment, the animation depicts Mickey with a strange, lifeless smile on his face. The once familiar cheerful theme of music is replaced by an eerie off-key melody, distorted and increasingly jarring as the short progresses. As the film continues, the streets grow darker, the shadows longer. Mickey's walk turned into an unsettling march, with each step echoing like the toll of a distant bell. His movements became jerky, unnatural, as if controlled by an unseen force. The animation style itself starts to degrade, with Mickey's form gradually becoming more grotesque and distorted, his limbs growing unnaturally long and twitching sporadically. The real horror begins with Mickey reaching the end of the street. A towering, looming figure emerges from the shadows behind him, a distorted, faceless silhouette that seems to represent some form of authority or punishment. Mickey's face contorts in fear, his once innocent expression twisted into something barely recognizable. As the figure looms closer, the animation begins to glitch. Frame skips erratically, flashing strobe-like distortions across the screen. The music became progressively more disoriented, with sound warping into distorted screams. Mickey's face is no longer just a form, but appears to be in agony, with his eyes bulging and mouth stretched grotesquely. The figure behind Mickey, still faceless, reaches out, and as if it does, Mickey's body begins to collapse inward, as though he's been crushed by an unseen force. The cartoon's colors bleed out, leaving only black and white, the imagery becoming more abstract and fragmented. The final moments of the cartoon are a jarring sequence of distorted flashes. Mickey's once innocent face now resembles something unrecognizable, locked in a permanent scream. The screen then cuts to black, and a single disoriented chord reads out for several seconds before the reel abruptly ends. Alleged use in Soviet prisons. According to various accounts, Mickey's Descent was not intended for public viewing because it was instead used as a form of psychological warfare. It is believed that the cartoon was shown to political prisoners, dissidents, and those in solitary confinement within the Soviet labor camps, where it would be played on loop for hours or even days. The repetitive, disturbing nature of the animation, along with its unsettling visual degradation, was reportedly designed to erode the sanity of the prisoners, breaking them psychologically. Prisoners who survived the experience have given testimonies describing the film as a living nightmare, with some even claiming that even watching it for extended periods of time would lead to hallucinations and feelings of extreme dread. As there are no surviving copies of the film, the truth of these claims remain unverified. However, there are scattered accounts from former inmates who describe the film in vivid detail, suggesting it was a part of an intense and cruel form of mental torture. Discovery and loss. The first report of Mickey's descent surfaced in the late 1990s, when a few former Soviet prison guards allegedly came forward with stories of the film. According to their accounts, the cartoon was produced by a group of Soviet animators commissioned by the state to create propaganda, but its final form became something much darker. It was never officially sanctioned by the government, and copies of the film were supposedly destroyed after its use. Over the years, a few individuals have claimed to have seen the film, though these stories remain anecdotal. Some speculate that the animation was buried in the depths of the Soviet archives. Others believe that it was quietly erased from its existence in order to prevent it from becoming public knowledge. Attempts to find Mickey's descent or any remains of it have been proven unsuccessful. Various old Soviet-era film reels and fragments of animations have been analyzed, but none have conclusively been identified as the lost cartoon. Legacy. Despite its uncertain origins and the lack of hard evidence, Mickey's Descent has developed a cult following among fans of lost media and horror enthusiasts. It is often cited in discussions about disturbing and psychological torture in the context of animation, as well as in the broader genre of lost media. The eerie and unsettling nature of the film has inspired many theories, fan art, and reimaginings of what the cartoon could have looked like. The film has come to represent more than just a lost piece of animation. It embodies the fear and psychological trauma that could arise from the degradation of innocence in art. The mystery surrounding Mickey's Descent continues to captivate those who are drawn to the darker corners of lost media, leaving a lingering sense of dread about the unknown horrors that may still be buried in the forgotten archives of history. Seen also, lost Soviet animation, psychological torture in Soviet prisons, disturbing lost cartoons, references, the torturous animation of Mickey's Descent, Russian Archival Review, 1997, Voices of the Forgotten, Prisoners' Account of Soviet Torture Tactics, International Human Rights Journal, 2001. Various lost media forms and testimonies. Oh my god. That was Mickey's Descent by Alan the Fallen Angel, 2005. So, let's honestly get into this, shall we? Apologies for how bad the recording is or how choppy it is, mainly of me stuttering, but that's not the point. Or because I promised that I would get the little Dark Age narration or the duality narration out, but I got busy and had to postpone that to unknown future releases. As for Mickey's Descent, well, I am really surprised that this is someone's retake on the classic Mickey's Not Alive.avi. Mainly, the grammar is good, and I had to deduct some points off, mainly because of you using the cliche of the cartoon being translated to another language, which has been done correctly with this cartoon being made during the Cold War era to absolutely inflict torture and psychological damage to prisoners. Sounds like a way better idea. including how it gets like a cult following at the very end. But overall, well, I know it's short and everything was great and all, with some cliches that has been correctly been used for it. My final rating on this story is let me see, a 7.4 out of 10. Keep writing, and of course, this is just my personal standards. So, I hope you had a great night or day wherever you are. And thanks for watching.